Hey everyone, I hope you're well. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Quickdraw Hopup and explaining exactly what they actually do for the RE45 and the Wingman. The description of this Hopup says faster weapon switching, ADS time and reduced hipfire spread. But what does this actually mean in real world performance? How much of an improvement are we seeing in these stats, and how does it actually affect the gameplay and the animations of the weapons? Well, I have compared everything. I've gone through frame by frame and also looked at the in-game weapon stats in the game files to really get the full results so that you know exactly what these Hopups are and if it's even worth swapping out a weapon for one of these weapons with a Quickdraw Hopup. So with some further testing, I found that the faster weapon switching, ADS time and reduced hipfire spread means 4 things. Your weapon zoom in and zoom out time is improved, your weapon raise and lower time, that's when you take a weapon up when you've got fists out, is improved, your weapon deploy and lower time is improved, and your spread whilst hipfire standing or hipfire standing and walking has been improved, but no improvements to hipfiring while sprinting, crouching or mid-air. So it's pretty nice to see, but does it actually make that much of a difference? Well, we can see here the weapon switch time and ADS times do make somewhat of a difference. This is recorded at 120 FPS and at 5% speed, so you can tell that it's noticeable, but in the real world, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. If we take a look at the actual weapon stats, we can find out that the Quickdraw Hopup improves the weapon switching time of these weapons by these numbers. So the RE45 holster and deploy times are 35% faster, the Wingman holster and deploy times are 30% faster, and the RE45 ADS and Wingman ADS deploy times are dependent on what optics you have, so we cannot really get an exact percentage, but the Wingman ADS time is 15% faster than the RE45 when we consider both Hopups, so the Wingman gets an even better ADS increase, which is quite nice. Overall though, it seems like a strange thing to put it on the pistols, because the Wingman has the same movement speed whether you are hipfire or ADS, so faster ADS maybe in some moments can be useful, but it seems so situational and such a small buff that it's really hard to tell when it's actually being effective. You know, when you have a skull piercer, you can feel its value. When you have a double tap, you can feel its value. The anvil receiver, the disruptor, these are powerful Hopups. This one just kind of gives a little nudge that's almost invisible to the eye. Now, if you have a look at the hipfire spread, things have some decent improvements. The RE45 hipfire spread is 33% when you're standing completely still, but when you pick up speed, it goes to 12% increase. The Wingman is a 25% increase in hipfire, and the run speed hipfire is 10% better. As I mentioned before, the hipfire spread for sprinting at full speed, crouching and midair haven't been changed. To be honest, a 25% increase is pretty strong, as is a 33% for the RE45, and I think this is where these Hopups shine. Better hipfire movement is good in some situations. The ADS movement speed of the Wingman is exactly the same as the hipfire movement speed, but it's not always about that, you know. Sometimes you get a better view of what's going on whilst hipfiring, so yes, up close, both of these weapons are going to be much better and more accurate with the Quickdraw Hopup. So with that in mind, which weapon is the Quickdraw best on? Well, I'd say the RE45 is more suited for faster weapon swaps, a better hipfire, and the Wingman has better ADS time, but overall both weapons really shine with their better hipfire spread, and as we see in a minute, the weapon switching time isn't really that great. A Wingman is the kind of weapon that people are going to be rocking anyway. It's a very strong weapon, so if you find a Quickdraw Hopup and you don't have a skull piercer, then you may as well take the benefits. But what if you could choose between an RE45 and an R99? Is it actually worth taking the RE45 Quickdraw instead of the R99? Bearing in mind that the R99 time to kill, damage profile and just overall weapon performance is so much better than the RE45's, does the Quickdraw Hopup give it enough of a bonus to make it better? Well, if you really care about weapon switching speeds, which in the heat of the moment don't seem to matter that much, then this information is going to be quite interesting. If you get an RE45 with an R99 with no holster, it will take 0.5275 seconds to switch. However, if you start to get holsters for your R99s at level 2, it takes 0.54 seconds to switch from an R99 to an R99 with a level 2 stock. and the overall time it takes to switch from an R9 with no stock to an R9 with a purple stock is actually a tiny bit faster than the RE45 Quickdraw. So switching from an R99 to an RE45 Quickdraw is slower than switching from that same R99 to an R99 with a level 3 stock. To me, the Quickdraw Hopup on the RE45 seems to be a stopgap. It's for when you get an RE45 early game and you can't find a better weapon. The Quickdraw is going to give you a bit more movement potential, a little bit more power. It's still a low tier weapon and you definitely want to get the R99 or another weapon in its place as soon as you can. Ultimately, the Quickdraw Hopup is not an endgame Hopup, and I don't think it's designed to be. It kind of is there just to give a little tiny nudge to give the RE45 more power in the early to mid game stages. So with that in mind, I absolutely suggest you trying to consider it that. It's a stopgap before you get a better weapon, and in the Wingman's case, it's sort of a stopgap until you can get the Skull Piercer. And one final thing I want to cover is the R99 hipfire spread versus the RE45. The RE45 with the Quickdraw has a stat of 1.12 while standing and a stat of 1.62 whilst walking. Now the thing is, the R99 hipfire spread is 1 and 1.5 respectively for these same stats. The R99, the base R99 has better hipfire than the RE45 with the Quickdraw Hopup. To me, it's never been clearer. The Quickdraw Hopup is just there to give the RE45 more power until you get the R99. There is one case where the Quickdraw Hopup on the Wingman does work a little bit better, considering that you get a 30% increased deploy time. If you have a main weapon that you like, you can quickly switch to the Wingman and then do decent damage, right? That's actually a decent strategy if you like using the Wingman as a secondary anyway. So yes, in some situations, the Quickdraw on the Wingman can be good. On the RE45, it's sort of there just to give the RE45 a bit of a tiny boost until you find a better weapon. There's just no point taking an RE45 with a Quickdraw when a SMG with a good stock can kind of negate the difference it has in switching time. I always wondered why they added this Hopup from the beginning. Now that I've taken a look at the stats, I'm still a little bit curious. I do think the RE45 is perhaps a weapon that they wanted to see more playtime with, give people something new to play around with, but it's not a strong Hopup, honestly. Not only that, but this Hopup isn't really that fun to use. It doesn't feel satisfying because it doesn't change the weapon profile in any real significant way. This is probably my least favorite Hopup in the game so far. I hope that they do have some more exciting Hopups in the future. Let me know what you think about this video, leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio! Did you know I stream almost every day from 7 PM UK time or 11 AM Pacific Standard Time? You can catch me live right here on YouTube, so make sure you have notifications turned on. I also have a new members program. Become a member for $2.99 a month, get your comments highlighted in videos, get a cool badge in live stream chat, get access to these cute emotes, and also gain access to my members tips videos, where you can ask me for any tips and I'll be making new videos weekly to help you improve your own game. Click the join button or click the link in the video description to get involved.